This is Libra's love reading for January 2018, starting with singles. Okay. Well, singles, I think that you're doing pretty well, okay? I see that, you took my advice in the past. You're still working on freeing yourself from an ex, okay, that was toxic, bad news. Now, what I see, release your ex did come up in your cards. So what I believe the reason why this is here is you probably have thought about them, probably maybe cyber stalked them a little bit, maybe even thought about contacting them, okay, in the month of December. And that's because the whole month of December pretty much was Mercury retrograde. So that's just a natural thing. It's going to happen. I would even venture to say that your ex probably felt the same way, okay, about you. So now that we're into January, December's ended, you can feel free to release your ex again. You don't need to think about them. You don't need to contact them because they are still a toxic person. They are no good. So just continue to free yourself. The more distance and time you put in between you and that person, the better off you'll be. Okay. Now, I see that you're currently calling in your soulmate, okay, which is really good. That means you're doing a lot of self-work, working on yourself to get to a place where your soulmate can actually come into your life. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind, I do get the feeling that your soulmate is probably 6 months to a year out from arriving in your life, okay? And that's partly because, if you didn't know this, the Uranus, the planet of chaos and disruption, has been in Libra's 7th house, which is the house of relationships, for the past 6 years. And it has one more year to go. Uranus's transit is 7 years long. So what this can do, so you'll probably identify with this almost immediately. What this can do is it can attract people that are unavailable, emotionally unavailable, don't want to commit, live long distances away from you, are cheaters, liars, people that like to date multiple people at one time. So that just sort of non-committal person, that's what it will attract into your life. And it will make relationships more difficult by putting time and distance in between them. So it's been a rough 6 years. We have one more year to go. So just hang in there and do your best to really put in the self-work to yourself so that your soulmate can come in when the time is right, okay? So a lot of Libras are going to start to experience real, I feel like a lot of Libras have felt that like something's wrong, like they're just unlucky in love, or, like why is everybody, finding somebody so easily and I'm just, sitting here like, what the heck, like why can't I find the right person? And so in about a year from about, what would it be? I think it's November. So we're right around there. So about a year from now, Libras are going to actually a lot of Libras are going to start to actually experience real relationships with, people that do want to commit. And so you're going to probably see a lot of Libras getting married. So, sorry, I went off on a tangent there, but what you have to realize is that, you know, while you're putting in the self-work, you also need to keep an open mind about your soulmate, okay? Because they may differ from your usual type and expectations. That doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing, okay? I know that, like, those words in particular can be a little scary. Just they sound scary. Like, what am I gonna marry? Like a troll or something? You know, it could just be that, like, they come from a different background, like, you know, they could have a different hair color than you typically like, you know, like, they could have more money than you would expect, you know, I mean, the list could go on and on and on. So it doesn't have to be something that's bad. It just means keep an open mind and don't be so rigid on your, like, list of requirements, okay? Now, what I see is that during January, you're gonna, like, start to dip your toe into the dating world a little bit. Like, you're gonna kind of venture out a little bit, maybe, you know, try to get to know some people. You may go on some dates, or you may just have some hookups. So you could have some hookups, but you're still gonna keep retreating back to like, your solitude every now and then. The reason being because you know, you're just putting your toe in. You're not jumping in yet. So you're taking it slow, and quite honestly, because you're waiting for the soulmate. You're waiting for the soulmate to come in. So you know that it's not worth it per se to get into a full-blown relationship with somebody right now, because you're not quite ready yet. You haven't fully released the ex, and you want to wait for the real deal. So it's perfectly fine to just, like, maybe get some hookups, maybe go on some dates, you know, just, like, stick that toe in. You don't have to jump in yet. Like, it's totally fine, okay? Now, the one thing I would caution you about is that, you know, because the release your ex card here is surrounded by the getting to know each other, the attraction, and the chemistry, you could run into your ex, okay? And this is very important for you to know, because like, this is saying that if you run into your ex, they're gonna try to, like, loop you back in. They're gonna try to hook up with you. They're gonna, you know, lay on the compliments real thick, okay? And you need to try to avoid that situation, or at the very least, don't succumb to their charms, okay? Now, if you do happen to succumb to their charms, don't fret. It's okay. Maybe you have one hookup with that person, but just know that it's not really gonna go anywhere. It's just that's all it would be. It would be a hookup, because that person hasn't changed. They're still the same. So if you do happen to run into your ex and just succumb to their charms and hook up with them, just know that when it's over with, you've got to protect yourself, and you got to free yourself again. Like, don't get caught up in it again, okay? And just know that your soulmate is worth waiting for, so just give it time. Your soulmate will come to you, and you know, just work on yourself. That's the most important thing, okay? All right, that was a long one. All right, moving on to couples. Okay, so couples, what I see is that you are also, like, still trying to release an ex. This could be because we just had Mercury retrograde in December, so they could be on your mind. There could be some situation where they may have tried to contact you, or something to that effect, okay? You just need to try to keep yourself free of them, okay? It's very important. Now, what I see is that you are currently with your soulmate. You called in your soulmate. And now, with your ex still being somewhat in the picture, okay, and it could be screwing things up a little bit, because there could be still some attraction to that person, and they may be spewing out some lies, saying like that they've changed, that they're a different person, that they're still attracted to you, that they're trying to mess up your relationship that you currently are in. And don't let them do that, okay? You're with your soulmate, so you really can't let that happen. You need to free yourself of that person. You need to release them. And don't believe any of their charms. Don't fall for it, okay? Now, what I see is that you may be spending a lot of time away from your soulmate, okay? There could be some long periods of not seeing each other. This could be due to work, different schedules. Maybe there's like one of you has kids or something, and you have to go see the kids, and then you have to be away from each other. I don't know. There could be a million different reasons why, but I think it's okay. It's not like, it's interesting, because what I see is that like when you have these like retreats, and let's say one of you's away for work or something, and then like you love the waiting to see each other again. There's an element of like loving the like texting and like sexting. There's a lot of chemistry and attraction with this person, and so there's like distance makes the heart grow fonder. So like you're liking the way this is going, because then you wait, and then when you finally get in the same room with each other, it's like you guys get to fall in love all over again. You get to know each other again. So it's like it's almost like Groundhog Day or something, like, and you guys love it. It works for you guys, and your soulmate is very different from you, but you like that about that person. It like keeps it spicy. And you may even currently like this situation because you enjoy your freedom. So I mean, hey, if it works for you, it works for you. It's probably because Uranus is still in our 7th house, in Libra's 7th house, which is the house of relationships, which it does attract long distance relationships into our lives. And you have one more year of Uranus being in the 7th house. So you are probably going to enjoy this and experience it for at least one more year. Now, probably after a year from now, you might be craving more of stability and more of a commitment. But that could be, a year from now, so don't worry about it. Just enjoy your time that you have, and enjoy, this great relationship that you're in, okay? So, that's all I got. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you like a personal reading, and thank you for listening.